battling ALS while doing ministry. Stay tuned.
If you want to talk about it, let's talk.
Welcome to the show. Let's talk about relationship.
Let me walk you through your healing.
Let's talk about that. I don't want to be nowhere where there's a move of God, but I'm not receiving.
Economic side, where now women are making more money than their men that they date. So many people don't know who they are before they start doing what they do.
God is going to supernaturally visit you.
Welcome to the show. My guest is the senior pastor and founder of Radical Apostolic Power International Ministries out of Washington, D.C. This radical preacher teacher have been in ministry for 20 plus years and is serious about kingdom business. Help me welcome to the show Apostle Antonio Briggs. Apostle, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
So good to have you in our city.
Well, it's good to be here.
Awesome, awesome. We really have been enjoying the word for the last two days. On Sunday morning, you dealt with the apostolic insight. Awesome, awesome word. And then on last night, you dealt with the topic, no sweat, going into 2013, looking forward to a year of sweatless victory.
Yes.
What an amazing word. About a few weeks ago, the Lord sent a similar word to the house, dealing with entering into that place of rest.
Yes.
So it was just good. God always sent confirmation to Truth Outreach International Ministry. He just
Yes.
loves us. He loves us crazy like that.
Yes.
He loves us crazy like that. Well, first things first, congratulations is in order. on December 24th, on Christmas Eve, you tied the knot. There's the happy couple. Good job. You tied the knot. So congratulations, and we wish you all the best in a very successful marriage. Well, let's just get down to it.
Okay.
How long have you been in ministry, Apostle?
Oh, wow. It's been at least over 20 plus years. I began ministry when I was 16.
Wow, okay.
Yeah, and it was a very unique time in my life because I come from a long line of people in ministry in my family. I'm, they say, fourth, fifth generation apostolic preacher.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so have a good, strong genealogy, strong bloodline of men as well as women that walked very close to the Lord. And so I'm a living product of that anointing.
That's good.
Yeah.
And radical you are. Apostolic you are. Yes, you are. What is the heartbeat of your ministry? What is the heartbeat of rap?
Wow. Rap is, first of all, is centered with a strong foundation in worship, intercession, prophetic ministry, but even more so, we are geared to make what I will call major impact in our local community. One thing about rap is, even though we have our churchy things we do, the main vision of our house is to make sure that we're bringing the kingdom into the marketplace, that we're able to find practical ways to make sure that the message of the kingdom, not only through preaching, but also with programs, activities that we set up in the community, so that the community can begin to see the kingdom at work.
Wow, awesome, awesome, very well. What is the one thing that brings absolute joy to you when it comes to doing ministry?
Oh, wow. Seeing people recognize who they are.
Awesome. Awesome. That's
yeah,
good. A lot of people don't know who they are.
Yeah. When you begin to find people that once they joined the ministry, they had no focus, had no dream, had no aspiration, and then within a few months, you begin to see them perk up with excitement. They'll come and say, oh, Apostle, I'm now having dreams. I can do this, I can do that. I don't have to stay in the situation I'm in.
Wow, that's awesome.
When I hear those type of testimonies, it makes ministry, when I say absolutely worth it, to know that people are being changed from the inside.
Oh, wow. Wow.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome. When were you first diagnosed with ALS?
It's been 2.5 years.
2.5 years.
About 2.5. It was during the summer of 2009. Yeah, that I was diagnosed, and when they gave me the diagnosis, I had no idea what it was. But when the doctor told me, I can tell by her voice that it was something real serious.
Right.
And like I said, I didn't know, but then when she had mentioned Lou Gehrig's, I said, okay, I've heard about that.
That's right, yeah.
But I still didn't know fully what this type of disease, what it can do to people.
Right.
And so I must admit, initially, I was devastated, but at the same time, while she was telling me, I had a smirk on my face, you know, and she said, how do you feel? I said, well, I just needed to know what it was, so I'll know what I'm dealing with.
True.
While I'm saying that to her, in my mind, I'm saying, I just need to know what the name of this is, so I know how to attack it in prayer.
Yes, yes.
To know and to hear what God had to say about it.
Oh, I'm coming, yes.
Oh,
yeah. Let's talk a little bit more about what ALS does. It is the Lou Gehrig's disease, named after the New York Yankees baseball player, and he was first diagnosed in the 1930s with this disease. Yeah. Let's give the viewing audience a little feel for what this disease really does to the human body.
Wow. Well, first of all, it destroys the nerves.
Right.
It affects the upper and lower motor neurons.
Right.
And so it affects people in different stages. One of the things it does it slows down your mobility, gripping things, grabbing hold of things. Something as simple as grabbing a fork to eat, a pen to write, becomes very difficult and challenging. Over a period, even picking up things to bring it to your mouth becomes very difficult for some. It also, for many, it prevents them from being able to walk with a sense of fluidity and balance. Typically, after a certain duration of time, most ALS patients either are confined to a wheelchair because ultimately the disease completely paralyzes the individual. Some people lose their ability to speak, lose their ability to swallow, and even, you know, one of the effects that it has had on me is that my speech is a little slower, and my mobility is not, you know, the way that it used to be. With this disease, they only give people 2 to 5 years.
That's right.
To live. And I'm in my almost 3rd year of walking this out.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
So,
yes, I saw that. I saw, in fact, I have the exact statistic. It says that according to the ALS Association, about half of the people with ALS live at least 3 years after they find out that they have the disease, and 20%, or one in every 5, live 5 years or more. As many as 10% will survive more than 10 years. So the statistics are saying, you know, the longevity of living with the disease is 10%, which is really a small number. And you've conquered the first 2 years, and we know you about to hit the rest of the years, right?
Absolutely. One thing that in my study as well, I forgot the gentleman's name. I believe he's about close to 80 years old. And he's been living with the disease for all those years.
Yes, that's right.
But what's different with him, it started when he was young. So he, from a child, developed the symptoms of ALS. And so he has been able to be preserved because his immune system as a child was still very strong. So the immune system found a way to fight it, but he's restricted to a wheelchair. He's not able to speak at all. And, you know, the interesting thing about him is that he's still around.
That's right.
And so, like your statistics were saying, they don't really look for anyone to come out of this.
They don't, right?
No, they do not. Realistically, when they give you the diagnosis, at least with me, they immediately sent about 4 to 5 other people in their clinic with all this literature on how to prepare my family for the worst.
So the minute they release the diagnosis, they prepare for the countdown.
Absolutely.
Exactly. Wow.
Absolutely. And so everything that they do is geared to trying to make your life comfortable until you eventually expire. And so, you know,
preach right there.
what is so powerful to me, is that I'm not preparing to die.
That's right.
I'm preparing to live.
Hallelujah.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes.
Because, you know, and I'm a real person. You know, I'm not so to speak churchy that my head is in the clouds and I can't deal with reality. I had a heart-to-heart with the Lord about this. And I wanted him to tell me whether it was worth praying to him about, because I didn't want to waste my time praying for something that he didn't intend to heal. But once he told me that he wanted to bring me out of this,
wow, awesome.
When he began to share with me the purpose of this condition, then I began to, so to speak, strengthen the way that I prayed. And not only the way that I prayed, but I began to change areas of my life for the whole purpose to making my life better than how it was before this even came upon me.
That's awesome. That's awesome. What were some of the symptoms that led to you being diagnosed with the disease?
Yeah, I remember I began to notice that my hand, left finger in particular, would begin to swell. And I wasn't sure if that came from me playing the piano, because I played the piano since I was 4 years old.
You play the piano?
Yeah, I didn't know that.
Yeah, like something new today. We'll put you on the keyboard now.
And so I began to notice playing was becoming a little bit more challenging. I wasn't able to pick up a coffee mug with ease. And so then I decided to go, get it checked out. And at first they did all these different tests, EMG tests, testing the muscle, testing the nerve, and they thought that I had a pinched nerve. But then I began to recognize my hands and my arms were becoming weaker and weaker. I said, something can't be right. So I went to one specialist who referred me to another specialist who referred me to another. And then finally, I met up with a doctor that, was able to diagnose exactly what was going on. And at that time, the strength in my arms and then my walking began to, slightly change. So there was things gradually beginning to slow down and become a little bit more challenging than before.
Wow, wow. What was your family reaction to the news?
They didn't quite know how to deal with the adjustment, because they're so used to seeing me full of energy, running around, always busy, and to see me gradually slow down, it was a big adjustment. But then, as family would, everyone is trying to find a way, make sure I'm okay. Sometimes it was a little overbearing, and I understand, but what happens is they begin almost to help so much that I became more dependent on them versus utilizing my own strength to, do certain things. But most importantly, my family really began to step up in their level of prayer.
That's good.
I begin to see God really put a burden on them for prayer. And so,
Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome. So they came through. That's awesome.
yeah.
That's awesome. How do you balance ministry with this disease? I mean, ALS.
Wow.
How do you do it? I mean, because it takes, you're a radical preacher. You've always been a radical
Yeah.
preacher. From I met you a few
Yeah.
years ago, you've always been a radical preacher. And you are in full-time ministry. You have a full-time church in
Right.
D.C. How do you balance it, all of it, in order, with given where you are?
Right. I'll first say this. There are two things that's keeping me alive. My relationship with the Father,
That's good.
because I'm a worshiper.
Yes.
And then ministry
Mm.
is keeping me alive.
Wow.
It's keeping me moving. Because if I didn't have the call of God on my life and clear vision of where I'm going, I will have nothing to look forward to. So then this disease will be able to ultimately ravage my body because I don't have a defense mechanism inside of me.
Right.
What I mean by that is when you have vision of your life and understand the purpose that God has put in you, the enemy can't touch that.
That's right. That's
You
right.
hear
That's right. Yes.
So
Yes.
I manage it differently. I used to always have my hands in everything. What this has taught me is to really rely and allow other people's gifts to come forth.
That's good.
Delegate.
Delegate.
There are people, even though I'm the apostle, there are people in your ministry. I had to come to grips with this reality that are better than me.
At certain stuff.
Yes, God has gifted them with things that He didn't gift me with.
Wow.
So when you begin to understand that God has situated people that have the ability to take that vision and make it move in a way that He didn't give it to me. You see, He gave me the insight, but then He set people around that knew how to make it happen.
Wow.
So I had to learn how to take the vision I saw and begin to delegate it to them that I believe God has given them the ability to make things happen.
Wow. We
Yeah.
call them the ladder holders.
Yeah.
Yes, we call them the ladder holders.
Yeah.
They're strategically placed to help you
Wow.
carry the vision. Let's go back to the day when you initially got the news. You said you were devastated.
Yeah.
At any point in that moment, did you say, God, why me?
Absolutely. I went through a long checklist. What did I do? Who did I hurt? Is this punishment?
Right.
I went through the long list of people I was in relationships with. Did this come from this person, that person? Did somebody speak a curse over my life? I went through, all of the litany of things that, and the main thing, I was like, why now.
Why now?
At the prime
Prime
of my life, and not even ministry right now, the prime stage of manhood.
Gotcha.
A time when this is when men are establishing family and having children and building their career, and
Yes.
So my question was, what does it mean at such a time when I'm still have my youth, I still have my energy? Because normally this type of disease hits people at the age of 50.
Older, that's correct.
Yeah. So I had those questions.
What
Yeah.
did the church say? What did your church friends and did you seek counsel from pastors and leaders? What did they have to say about it?
Most of my different in ministry and even the church, they approached it from a mindset of this is temporary.
That's good.
I never saw anybody or heard any statements to suggest that, oh my Lord, I don't know what we're going to do. Apostle.
Oh, he's gone. He is gone. Planning the funeral.
The
Wow.
good thing is
That's good.
everyone consistently kept the word in my ear.
That's good.
Yeah.
They kept speaking life.
Absolutely.
Right.
Absolutely.
So you had nobody that would say, what did you do now?
Yeah, right. What are you going to do? I mean, one thing I must say, I haven't had that type of negativity in my ear to suggest that I should get prepared for the worst.
That's good.
And I thank God for that.
That is awesome.
Yeah.
That is awesome. That is awesome. That is awesome.
Yeah.
At this point, just before I go to break, I wanna leave this question with you to ponder on. There will be individuals who will watch this show and say, man, I know you. You're a radical man of God, love the Lord. And they would say, well, why haven't God healed them yet? I want you to think about that. Stay close. We'll be right back.
Tell me what is on your mind. Let's talk about it. Let's talk about it. Whether old or present time. Let's talk about it. Let's talk about it. Tell me what is on your mind. Let's talk about it. Let's talk about it. Whether old or present time. Let's talk about it. Let's talk about it. Tell me what is on your mind.
Welcome back to the show. I've been talking with Apostle Antonio Briggs out of Washington, D.C., talking about battling ALS while doing ministry. Just before the break, I left him with this question. There are individuals who will be saying, why hasn't the Lord healed you? And what would be your response at this point?
He has.
Awesome.
And I would say that not being sarcastic or oblivious to what physically may appear to be no healing. What I would say to them is God chose to progressively heal me. Some people God will do an instant miracle
Yes.
within a blink of an eye.
Just like
Their
that.
situation changed. Whereas others, even in scripture, some healings were a progressive work.
Yes.
When Jesus takes the clay, put it on the man's eyes,
That's right.
it's progressive healing.
Yes.
The woman with the issue of blood, the moment that she saw Jesus, she could have got healed.
That's right.
The progression was she had to seek him out and draw from him.
Yes.
With this issue with me, I have to seek him out.
Yes.
I have to draw from the healing that I know has already taken place.
Awesome.
Also, I would tell them it was purpose for me to bear this type of cross. I don't wish this on anyone. I don't want anyone to go through this. It can strip you down mentally.
Yes.
If you're not spiritually strong, it can make you curse God. And many have. That have this condition. They've cursed God. Yeah.
Wow.
With that being said, it was purpose for me to bear this. The Lord wanted to show me a side of him that I didn't know. There are people that I have to meet
Oh yeah.
that I wouldn't get to meet if I was that jubilant young man running up and down. They wouldn't be able to respect me. So now what the Lord did was, he slowed my walk down to slow me down. Too many young men in ministry burn out too soon. Some of them get caught up into things that ultimately destroy them. I haven't said this to many people, but I'll say it to you. God allowed this thing to come upon me to preserve me.
Wow. Wow.
Yeah. It's not easy, but my life is being preserved. I'm being humbled every day because of this.
Right.
And thirdly, it's teaching me how to wait on God. I didn't know how to do that before. I thought I did,
Right.
but now I'm learning him in a way that I never thought I would see him
Wow.
before. So
Wow.
that's what I was saying.
Awesome. That is awesome. That is amazing. That is truly amazing. Truly amazing to know that the Lord allowed it. You know, there's a great comfort and know that you're coming out on the other side of this.
Yeah.
But through it though,
Yeah.
it's the price you pay. Would you say it's the price you pay for the apostolic?
Absolutely.
The price, the bloody
Yeah.
garment. You want to see my
Yes.
garment? Let me tell you
Yes.
about what the Lord brought me through.
Yes. And every man or woman that God has chosen to walk an apostolic walk has their different price they have to pay. Some are not as extreme as others, but at the end of the day, you had to pay a price. You had to, as if it were, prove that you can handle the weight of the cross.
Yes.
Jesus said, except you deny yourself and take up your cross and follow me. It's easy to say until you have to bear it on your shoulder.
For yourself.
Yeah. So that's what I'm doing.
You know, and it's a good segue into questions, because I said once you got here I was going to maximize this moment.
Go ahead.
And I wanted to talk about, you know, the ALS, but I also wanted to talk to you about the apostolic. And right now there's such a rise in the title of, or individuals taking on the title of the apostle.
Yeah.
And when you look at their shady lives, there's no accountability. There's so much off. But why is there such an influx of folks taking on the office of the apostle now?
Yeah, because honestly, in the realm of the spirit, the apostolic wind has been blowing for years. Some are just catching it, but don't know how to identify it.
True.
And the only identification is self-promotion of, because now they're gifted, they got the ability to preach, they have a following, and they may be able to prophesy or whatever, but in their mind, they've concluded that they have been called to apostleship, but yet they don't even have spiritual fathering themselves.
Wow. Wow.
I'm going to say this, and
Say
it
it.
may not go over well. You can't father others if you haven't been fathered.
Wow. That's good. That's good. That's good.
Oh,
Yes.
yeah.
Very
Oh, yeah. Otherwise, you are operating in a title with no proper qualification. You are functioning, and if I can just be real candid about this, it is so overrated. Everybody's an apostle. Really?
He said he called some apostles.
Every time you look around,
Yes.
there's a new one raising up. I don't have a problem if God has really called you to this. My issue is, like everything else in America, it's hit the church. We've become a people that cleave to the next big fad.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah. So, and it's cute to be called an apostle.
It's cute.
It looks good.
It looks
You dress good. Wear a big ring. Have an entourage. You walk in, apostle so-and-so was here. But yet when the demon starts growling, you
no
run.
power. No power.
You run. When God shows up, you want everybody else to bow and worship. But you sit there with your legs crossed. You're not an imposter. You're an imposter. Yeah. Let me tell you. See?
Tell an apostle. I'll say, you are an imposter.
Real apostles.
Touch it.
They love God with everything. Real apostles walk soft. They can hear God speak in the smallest of ways. Real apostles, they see the church from a global perception. Real apostles have a vision. They can see a broken down building, but when they walk in, they begin to see this can be a community center.
Yes.
This can be a place to feed the hungry.
Yes.
Apostles have consistent vision and true burden from the Lord. They're builders. Most people that call themselves apostles
Get in trouble.
I'm sorry.
Go on.
They don't even have a church. So who in a ham sandwich are you an apostle over? Really? I'm sorry.
Ham sandwich
sorry,
apostle.
y'all. I'm hungry. I'm
That's
sorry.
cracking up
Oh,
on TV, apostle. Behave. I'll say, who in the ham sandwich? Are you an apostle over? Oh, Lord.
Woo!
But there's
Lord.
so, Lord help us. You need
No.
tissue. But they are rising
Really?
up all over the place. Yeah.
Right. And it's like, who are you an apostle over? You have no one following you. So who are you building? What ministries are you helping build? What pastors are you helping to build? And then even more so, who's helping to build you?
True.
So, yeah.
Yeah. That's all that. Let's talk about, I guess this will differentiate a true apostle from what I'm calling someone that just went and
Yeah.
not one that was not sent.
Yeah.
There's an apostolic sound. Let's touch on that for
Yeah.
a minute. That
Wow.
probably will help differentiate,
Good.
yes, the apostolic sound.
The true sound of an apostolic voice will always speak of the kingdom of God manifested in the earth.
Yes.
The real apostolic sound is to understand the fullness of God, like the Bible says, the fullness of the Godhead bodily. The real and true apostolic sound is to understand the finished work of the cross, to understand the purpose of the cross,
Yes.
and then the purpose of the church, to not only understand the purpose of the cross, but to also understand the purpose of resurrection. When you are true
Yes.
apostolic voice, you understand how to bring the people into present truth.
Right.
You know how to understand the scriptures, but then you're able to prophetically open them so that the people can begin to activate that word that the word begins to become flesh and it begins to dwell among us.
Awesome.
That's an apostolic sound.
That's the apostolic sound. Awesome, awesome, awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome. As we begin to wrap, a final question for you, Apostle. How important it is to have apostles strategically placed in different regions?
What's key about that is true apostolic functioning is when you understand you've been given certain territories to govern.
That's right.
The assignment of the apostle is to be a voice for the church in our local government, to also be a voice in our community, to be a voice in our school system. See, being an apostle is not to just have the title and preach in your church or other churches.
Right.
You have to be given jurisdiction and to know who and to whom you are assigned to. What's so key is that when you have a company of apostles in a particular region, what that means is if they do it the right way, they can begin to link up with apostolic synergy.
Yes, yes, yes.
And begin to turn around the political landscape of that region.
That's awesome.
They can begin to strategize with kingdom concepts, also mixed with natural and business concepts, to merge them together so that you can begin to affect your local community and territory.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome. 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 Well, Apostle, thank you so much for being on the show today. We're out of time. We got to get to church tonight. But just before we leave, I want you to look into that camera as we're about to climax 2012 and head into 2013. Ooh, I want you to release a word right here, please.
Wow. I just want to declare that this year is going to be the greatest year that we have ever known. We have heard similar prophetic words like this before, but this year is the year that the people of God are going to make their mark. This is the year that we're going to see major turnaround. And this is the year we're going to see the kingdom advance in the earth like we have never seen before. 2013 is the year of the kingdom people.
I am kingdom. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes. Wow. Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome. Once again, thank you, Apostle, so much for being
You're
on the
so
show
welcome.
today.
Thank
For
you.
those watching, Happy New Year. And remember, always put God first and all else will follow. Bye now.
Thank you for watching today's show. If you'd like to request a copy of today's show, please contact us at 813-971-5372. We would love to hear from you. Please drop us a line at letstalkshow@verizon.net or subscribe to our Facebook page and leave a comment. If you feel this show has been a blessing to you and would like to assist us in keeping the show on the air, you can make a donation via PayPal or mail your checks to the address shown on the screen. Please tune into next week's show, and as always, if you want to talk about it, let's talk.